So I'm Danica. I'm Cain's mom.
And I'm Glenn, Cain's dad.
In February of 2022, this year, Cain was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a type of bone cancer on his right tibia bone. Cain was showing kind of symptoms last summer with his leg, and we first thought it was a bruise and he banged it. We thought not much of it, and but he kept sort of complaining about it. And then on February 1st, 2022, they confirmed Cain had a 9 centimeter by 2.5 by 2.5 centimeter tumor on his right tibia bone, and that it was high-grade osteosarcoma. It was like, it felt like our world had kind of ended. Mm-hmm. And the fear, that was the biggest thing, was we were so scared. We were just so scared because osteosarcoma is something that can be in more than one place, and it can be in the lungs, and we didn't know where it was. So he suddenly couldn't do anything that he liked to do. He's a very active kid. Mm-hmm. He couldn't climb snowbanks. He couldn't go to school anymore. He couldn't do any of that. The surgeon came in and talked to us the first time with the diagnosis and was telling him the possibilities of what was going to happen with his leg. The two options, one was to replace his tibia bone with the donor bone and that, and the other one was a possible amputation. Getting on board with, first off, doing chemotherapy and losing everything that he'd known in terms of his life and activities, and then also possibly losing his leg, and that all coming in at once, and then him having to come to terms with that. And we just didn't even know how to process it. But he was so put together with his questions and analytical, and he was so curious about everything. And then the oncologist would leave the room and he would just fall apart and cry and just be really angry and sad. And then somebody else would come in and he'd just get put together and start asking questions again. Yeah, we were really proud of him from the very start with all of that. The way his chemo began was it was 29 weeks. So he did 2 cycles of chemotherapy with surgery on April 28th. And that was his first surgery, which was 12 hours long.
I got scared. It really, really hurt. They put a fixator in. It was a bar that would kind of go into your bone, and then it would hold your leg together so the two bones don't move around.
May 15th, they did the second surgery to put a donor tibia bone in with his fibia from his left leg as kind of the blood supply. It was 2 weeks after his second surgery, it would have been the end of May, he began his chemo again. And now we're done all the chemotherapy regimen, and that concludes that treatment process for his cancer unless there's a reoccurrence.
People that have donated just were really grateful for it, and just seeing how many kids are actually affected by these things, you realize that it is something that is very important.